What's next?
You're back. Tell me, Tahar. Was it really necessary? Giving Myra to that man?
It was for the greater good. She said it herself.
She's not herself. And you know that as well as I do. Let's just hope... well, it will be fine. It has to. Be that as it may, both House Wulfgar and House Hallett are now on our side. I didn't think that would be possible. This alliance greatly increases our chances against the Purity. Anyway, no point in delaying the inevitable any further. We should discuss the upcoming battle in the span. Are you ready?
I am.
Good. Then let's call your companions. Thank you for coming. I take it you know the purpose of this meeting. Our final battle is up ahead. We will take back Greyfell, kill Lakain, and save, well, Tahar's mother. You all know what's at stake. If we lose this battle, then there's no one left to stop Lakain. So, first of all, thanks to Ulrich Wulfgar and his betrayal, Lakain knows we're coming. Paranor?
Yes, Lakain has gathered his army in the span. That's where the final battle will happen.
The Golden Road.
Yes. As you all know, almost every trade route of Nortander leads through there. It's very easy for him to make a stand. The Queen's River draws a clear line between the Greykeep side and where we'll be coming in from.
So, what's your strategy?
I'm afraid there's only one. Brute force. We'll have to crush through his defenses like a warhammer through an armor. That's where House Wulfgar and House Hallett will come in. They will block off the routes where they could send in reinforcements. Without them, this fight would be a lot harder. Once we've defeated their army, we'll advance to Greykeep. Questions?
Yes. How big is their army?
Massive. We already scouted the area. There's Bane, there's Deathmen, there's Templars, and Iron Ones.
In other words, Lakain knows we're a threat and gathered his entire force to stop us. Good. Because that'll be our chance to take out the entire Purity with one blow.
As I said, we cut off the snake's head.
Then prepare. Lakain won't show mercy, and neither will we. So I want every blade sharp. This is the only chance we're getting.
Well said, Tahar. Now get prepared. We'll head out at first light.
Interesting.
Hey.
How are things? Any troubles with the Ash Reavers yet?
No, it's all good. They respect me, and they respect you. And as long as that's a given, they won't cause any trouble. Not for us, that is.
Is something on your mind, Gore? You seem, I don't know, rattled.
What do you think, Tahar?
It's about Kagan, isn't it?
Yeah. Look, Tahar, the thing with the knife. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done it. Without me, the fire wielders would have broken apart. And it would have been you and all of Io who would have paid the price. Just so I could have my personal catharsis. What I'm trying to say is, sorry. That was selfish. And it was stupid.
So it wasn't an act?
No, Tahar, it wasn't.
No need to apologize, Gore. Really.
Anyway, for what it's worth, I'm glad we didn't have to kill him. I feel relieved. At least a little. Anything else you need? I had a feeling.
Why?
Because you just love to talk. But you know what? I appreciate it. I was never that big on sharing my thoughts, let alone my feelings. It just seemed, I don't know, pointless.
And now?
Well, I still prefer deeds over words, but I've realized that sometimes it can help to share. So, speaking of that, there's something I need to get off my chest. Thank you. Without your help, I don't know if I could have done it. Unite the fire wielders. But thanks to you, I did. Now, don't get me wrong. I know you mainly did this for our axes. But still, it got me a lot closer to my goal.
Redefine the orc culture.
No, return to it. Restore the great tribe. Live and cherish the struggle, without becoming the savage idiots like Krell turned us into. Anyway, enough of the chatter. Hone your blade, Tahar. We'll need it. Huh?
I'll be off. Understood. Interesting.
So, I guess that's it? The great finale?
So it seems.
Well, I should probably say something meaningful now, right? I can't think of anything. Heck, I don't even know why I'm coming with you. I should have left moons ago.
For what it's worth, I'm glad you didn't.
Easy, Tahar. We don't want to get all sentimental here, do we? Jokes aside, though, I realize this is a cheesy thing to say, but no matter how this ends, I'm glad our paths crossed. All those years on the road, I was free, yeah, but I also didn't have any roots. No home. Now, before you start crying, I'm not saying that this bloody city is what I consider home these days. I'm just saying I don't know, that it feels good to fight for something. And that surprises me. Anyway, enough of the chatter. Tell me when you're ready to head out.
Please, Myra. You need to talk to me.
To us.
I don't see why.
You need to understand this is necessary. It's for the greater good. You've had the most comfortable life of all of us so far, and now it's time to fulfill your duty to this country, too.
Arana, please, not now.
I'm sorry, Angar. I don't know what you expect me to say. The marriage was my decision, yet you act as if I had been forced.
Yes, I'm sorry. Well then, best you get your armor looked at before we head out.
Yes, brother.
This is just wrong. So wrong.
Still no change in her condition?
No. None. I still can't believe that dwarf considered keeping the rune. That kind of magic should not be allowed to exist. Either way, is there anything that needs discussing before we set out?
Now would you look at...
Tahar?
Hello, Myra. How, are you?
I don't know.
I wanted to talk about your condition. That rune, it changed something in you, didn't it? Can you describe it?
Everything has turned gray. Dark. I feel like a stranger. A stranger in my own body, a puppet, without someone to pull the strings anymore. I try to feel, but I can't. I suppose this is what it adds up to.
Are you feeling like it's getting better?
No.
That's troubling.
I suppose.
I'll be off. Get well soon, Myra.
I'll do my best.
Let's see.
Corporal Tahar. Still feels strange to say that name out loud.
Because of my father?
What do you think? Anyway, you've proven by now that you're not like him. I didn't think I'd ever say that, but I'm glad our paths crossed. So, what do you need?
Can you tell me more about the Iron Falcons?
Depends.
Why did you choose to become a Falcon?
Choose? You certainly don't know anything about royalty, Tahar. There was never much choice, especially not for me and my brother. To be honest, I always dreamed of becoming the Lady Marshal at the Queen's side, But that role was reserved for Angar. Thus, my parents sent me to the Falcons. Because of my talent and my blood, it had always been clear that one day I'd lead them, if I didn't fall in battle before that could happen. And I didn't. So now, the Arendirs lead the two most powerful forces in Nortander, just as our parents planned.
Makes sense. What's it like to be an Iron Falcon?
Harsh.
Meaning?
No family, no pleasures. Just the vigil and hard training under the desert sun, day after day. It's necessary because any distraction could make us drop our guard, which would mean the end of the world as we know it.
You have my respect.
Thank you.
How are you settling in?
Good. I'm worried about the tomb, of course, but I can see that my brother is right. The purity is as big a threat as the File Darg. Let us just pray that your soldiers know what they're doing.
What's your relationship with Angar?
I don't see how that's relevant. Sorry. If anything, I'm more worried about Myra. Seeing her like that, it's disquieting, to say the least. You want to know something funny? As a child, I always scolded her for her naivety. I told her she had to toughen up and that a woman of royal blood shouldn't behave like the miller's daughter, playing witch and drawing pretty pictures. Of course, she never listened. And now, all of a sudden, that naivety, that optimism, that blind faith in the world is gone. And I miss it. When this is over, we'll find a cure. We need to.
I'll be off. Interesting. Iskra?
What? Oh, Tahar. Didn't see you coming.
This place still has you in its grips, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Look, Tahar, I'm sorry for what happened at the forge. You know, with the rune. I didn't know what got into me. I mean, I still believe the rune has the potential to do a lot of good, and I will continue researching, but I shouldn't have, well, risked our cause.
Just don't do it again.
I won't. Promise. Anyway, I need to get some of these dents out of my armor. I'll be there when you need me.
Now
Either way, pleasure speaking.
Sure. Take care, Iskra.
Tahar. You need something?
Not really. I was just wondering if you know, wanted to talk before we head out. My gut tells me this will be the last battle for a while.
Well, I've had my share of war and violences. I sure hope so. 9 years. Can you imagine? It's been 9 years in which I did nothing but fighting. But killing. You want to know something funny?
What?
When I was a teenager, I always wanted to be an alchemist. You know, back in the days when there were charlatans everywhere. All of them looking for the Philosopher's Stone that could turn lead into gold. The idea of finding something that would change the world forever, it just fascinated me. Obviously, my plans didn't work out. My magical talent was discovered, I was sent to the university, and there I met your father. You know the rest of the story.
I do. But what are you getting at?
Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is that all through my life, I wanted to change something. Be that driving force behind something monumentous. Now, after all that's happened, I don't know. I've begun to wonder if that unguided idealism isn't the reason for a lot of conflict in the world. The War of the Six Races, the Mage Wars, the Purity, it's all the same. We're just too driven, too obsessed with leaving our mark on this world.
You almost sound regretful.
Do I? Well, I don't know. It's not like I don't believe in my ideals anymore. It's just all the fighting, all that death. It makes you think.
Maybe we are driven, but idealism is important. Without it, who knows where the world would be?
Yeah, who knows? Anyway,
I'm glad we're on the same side again. Maybe this final battle is a chance to, well, to make amends. Let me know when you're ready to head out, Tahar.
Will do. Understood.
Yes? Is there something you need?
No, nothing. What are your thoughts on the upcoming battle?
If by what are my thoughts you mean my estimation on our chance for victory, I would say they are close to even, with the odds being slightly in favor of the purity.
No, I meant, how do you feel? That battle, it will be dangerous, and yet you're still around to help us.
Well, it is only logical. The purity hunts mages, and if we do not stop them, they will take my life too. As for my emotions, I suppose you could describe them as a mixture of worry and anticipation. Also, there is something else that has been troubling me.
What?
The return of Aenir, as the purity calls it. The opening of the gates. I have done some research, and I'm beginning to believe that all this is not just superstition after all.
Wait, you mean Aenir is really trying to return to this world?
Not Aenir. But I would prefer to not make any premature assumptions. Even if my theory is true, it would not impact our immediate plan of action. Now, I would like to make some preparations, Tahar. I will be ready when you need me.
Of course. Thanks, Undergast.
Tahar, hello.
Getting prepared?
Yes.
It will be dangerous. You don't have to stay. You know that?
Oh, Tahar, you know, we never got the chance to talk much. But there's a reason I became an assassin. Blood, violence, death. It doesn't scare me. On the contrary. But I guess now isn't the time to catch up on this, is it? There's a battle ahead of us. I would like some more time to myself before we set out. Just give the word whenever you're ready. Yes, Corporal? How can I help?
Can you tell me more about your abilities? What's it like to be a Dreamweaver?
Well, I suppose trying to... If I enter a place where someone has died, I feel that person's sorrow. That person's fear.
Would you be willing to tell me more about your friend?
You seem to be quite adamant about this, aren't you? Fine. If you
How close were you and her, exactly?
That's hard to say. We had sex in all those 5 years. She never left my side. So some people might have considered us lovers, but I'm not sure we ever felt that way towards each other. You see, I don't feel emotions the same way other people do. And neither did Mila. The feelings the bards all sing about, I never had them. And I doubt I am capable of feeling them at all. This bond we had it because we were alike. Because she understood me and I understood her. Without saying a word. And I doubt I will ever have that feeling again.
When you say you were alike, what does that mean? That she also hardly felt emotions?
Yes. But whereas for me it had been becoming a Dreamweaver that had made me who I am, Mila had simply been born that way. There was no logical reason for her condition. It was just what fate, or the gods, had given her.
I understand.
Maybe you do.
What was she like?
That's a difficult question to answer. Compared to me, I would describe her as more cheerful, more talkative. She enjoyed the company of other people far more than I did. Of course, that conviviality was mostly a charade. Her interest in other people was genuine, but it was mainly because she wanted to study them. It was almost as if, until the very end, she believed that she could somehow overcome her nature. Of course, it didn't work.
Was she an assassin as well?
She was, yes.
How did she... I mean, How did it happen? The blood burn?
Well, I presume you are familiar with how the disease progresses, so there's no need to explain that part. As for when and where, we were with a small caravan near Everlight, on our way back to Greyfell. We had made camp in a small forest when the symptoms first showed. An old man, one of the caravan leaders, started coughing blood. I think everybody saw, but they all acted as if they hadn't. From that point on, it went straight downhill. Almost 3/4 of the group were infected. And by the next day, a young boy had blood running from his eyes. Do you know what's strange?
What?
Up until that point, I didn't even consider the fact that Mila was infected as well. The thought just didn't ever cross my mind.
How did you find out?
A blister. On the 3rd morning after that night in the forest, she took a bath in a nearby river and I saw it. That was it. I knew what would happen. And so did she. I insisted on riding back to Everlight and looking for a healer. An irrational thing to do, and I knew it. But I figured that a chance was better than none. But she wouldn't have it. I want to tell life when it's over, not the other way around. That's what she had always told me. And that night, it turned out she meant it.
She took her own life.
Yes. When I returned to the camp that night, I found a letter where she told me to meet her at a nearby clearing. I did, and found her laying on the grass, hands crossed behind her head, as if she was watching the moon. There was an empty bottle next to her, and I immediately recognized it. It was the merciful slumber, the most painless of poisons at our disposal. When you drink it, it's almost like falling asleep, very slowly. She was smiling when she faded away. How should I feel? It was her decision, and it was the most rational choice to make. Dying of the blood burn is incredibly painful, and she avoided that pain. Her last memories were ones of peace.
For what it's worth, I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you. Anyway, is there anything else you wanted to ask?
Goodbye. Now would you look at that?
Shouldn't you be somewhere else?
I just wanted to see how you're holding up. What are your thoughts on the upcoming battle?
I'm not sure what this is supposed to be, Tahar. Emotional goodbyes? I think there's a big nasty fight ahead of us, and there will be a lot of bloodshed. But we'll win this, I'm sure of that.
How so?
We'll take a look around. From next to nothing, you've put an army together. A messed up patchwork army, alright, but a force to be reckoned with. It's impressive. And to be honest, I didn't think you could do it when we first met.
Why?
I don't know. Just a feeling. Anyway, let's get back to it, shall we? We have a war to win.
Corporal Tahar, thank you for coming by. And thank you again for giving me this opportunity.
Nothing to thank me for. How's Henry?
Good. I just received a letter from his mother. She called me a fool after I told her what I'd done for that miracle potion. And I guess she's right. Either way, I've had a talk with some of the Moorhere elves already. Their architecture is slightly different than the classic Finnonmere buildings, but I'm nonetheless convinced that I can help them. Just let me know what needs doing, and I'll take care of it.
Perfect.
Good to see you, Corporal. What can I do for you?
Understood. Interesting.
By the Guardians. That was quite the journey, wasn't it? Wonderful place you found yourself here, Corporal. Wonderful.
Glad you like it. Did you have a look at the city's defense mechanisms yet? They might interest you.
Yes, actually I have. They are part of why I find this city so intriguing. I mean, I always knew the Shapers had some interesting weaponry, but this, it's amazing. I still don't understand why the Crown never showed much interest in these ruins in the first place. Anyway, I don't want to steal more of your precious time. As promised, I'll help you improve your siege machinery, catapults, ballistas, and the like. Though of course that'll cost you a little. Not for me, but for the material.
Alright. I'll come by when I need something. Now
Yes, Tahar? Looking for a skilled engineer?
Pleasure doing business with you. Come again. I'm getting new wares by the next moon's turn.
Got it. Let's see.
Finally out of this blasted city. What a mess.
How are you settling in?
Well, I'm still trying to get used to the idea that I'll be working in an old Shaper ruin from now on. Either way, I promised you my help, and here I am. Give me some material and some coin, and I promise you that I'll fabricate the finest weapons and armors you have ever seen.
Good. I'm looking forward to it. Now,
what can I do for you today?
So, you're from the Windwall Mountains. How is the situation there at the moment?
A bit of a mess since the rebellion. Reynold Hallett, House Hallett's former leader, fell in the Battle of Greykeep. And now his younger brother Wayland is running the country.
You don't sound too happy about that.
Well, word has it he's too emotional and too inexperienced, and from what I've seen, the rumors are true. He cares more about old family feuds, such as the one between House Hallett and House Wolfgar, rather than the well-being of their lands. But I guess there isn't much we can do about it.
I want to equip the Wayfarers.
I had hoped as much. What do you need?
Axes, daggers, swords, everything for the wary traveler. Farewell.
Understood. Interesting.
So, this is it? Your fabled fortress?
You don't sound...
It'll do. All I need is a good forge. My ingenious mind will do the rest. Though these orcish smiths you've employed so far certainly don't deserve their title.
What do you mean?
Because they are amateurs, and that's putting it lightly. Just give me some coin for material and send them my way. Then I can teach them what a true orcish axe or armor should look like.
Will do. So long, Berg.
Yes, yes, of course. Goodbye! Yes, yes? Looking for some orcish craftsmanship?
Now would you look at that?
Zalraka, what do you need?
I want to train the fire.
All right. Here's what we can do.
Will do.